Welcome back to part 2. This is a two-part video, and this one we're going to color the skin tones on the balloon girl named Hope. It's a stamp that's designed by Jamie Doherty for Prima, and in the previous video, which I will link you to at the end, I show you how to color the dreadlocks on this image. And today we're going to look at the skin. So let's get started on coloring some skin. So I'm starting with an odd combination. I decided not to go with my standard E3s, which I tend to use for a lot of African American skin, because I'm doing some experimenting. And I started with E4-3. The E4s are a little duller of a skin tone, so they're not super vibrant and that sort of thing. There's countries all over the world that produce people with skin tones of a certain type. This one has a little bit more green in it. So when I do my darks, I'm going to tone down that kind of color by adding a little bit of E7-7 for my shadows. So when I do that, it's going to take, if I start off with a color that's not working quite right, I can always add other colors to it. And I'm going to show you something about the other E4s as well once we get to that spot. So I'm coloring my shadows. I'm leaving a little bit of highlight underneath of her chin. So that's going to be a medium tone rather than my dark. And this is not a super dark kind of color either, this E7-7. It's not super super bold, because I didn't want it to be super bold since her hair is really dramatic. If I made her skin really dark too, it would all kind of meld together, and I really wanted the hair to shine in this one. Her entire neck is in shadow since the sun is coming from the upper right hand side, so I just kind of colored that whole thing in. Now here is the odd thing. This is an E4-4. The color underneath of it, that base color, is an E4-3. Look at the difference between these two colors. One has a whole lot more greenish feel to it, and the other one is just a bit warmer. And I don't know why it's such a difference. I couldn't tell you. And I don't know why that E7, which should be a really dull color, I don't know why that color is so intense compared to these E4s. Sometimes the rhyme or reason of the numbering system doesn't always play out for me in my brain the way that I think it should, but I think these still work really well to produce a nice skin tone. And I'm going to show you some stuff that I'm doing here as I'm blending this that will help you to recover from some blending errors, because like you can see here, it's not blending super well right now. This is the E4-3, so I'm going back over it with the base tone again, trying to smooth that out. Well, now I've got kind of a mess here going on her lower cheek, and I want to smooth all that out more. So right now I'm just adding lots more fluid to it, making sure that this is good and wet, so when I do this next step, it's going to really take well. So I'm going to take my medium tone marker again, that E4-3, and I'm just doing wide, simple, bold strokes. I'm not going crazy over it. I'm just super simple, straight strokes, and following along the curve of her face and that sort of thing. If you have places where you get sort of that weird texture, you can just go over it real quickly and real lightly, but you have to have the paper really moist like this. So even though I'm going to retain a little bit of some of the lines, which I can get rid of a little bit here with my E4-3 again, I'm blending back in the other direction, going from the highlight into it, into that shadow area, into that mid-tone, to blend those out. There's still going to be a little bit of lines left. They are going to dry back a little bit as the whole image dries, but it's one way to smooth things out afterward. And I'm darkening the shadow underneath of her chin just to emphasize that. For the lips, I'm using E04, which is a really nice neutral type of reddish pinkish color, and R59 for the shadow on those. And then I went over it a little bit with the E04 to blend it. And I don't remember what that brown was. Any brown or eye color will do. Now I want to tie the flowers together with colors in the image. So I'm using the E04 for these flowers. You can make it really super bright one, but I wanted it to be kind of a dull color because I want those lips to get some attention. And by putting this red, the same red elsewhere on the image, it's going to emphasize the red of her lips too. So I'm leaving my highlights on the upper right side since that's where the light is coming from. And I'm just doing a 2-color blend on this. I don't want to spend a lot of time and detail on the flower because that's not the important part of the image. It's basically an embellishment and I don't want to fuss with it too much. For the leaves, I used a YG95 along with a YG99 because I wanted it kind of a dullish color. I didn't want anything that was going to pop too much, so by the time I put my shadows on, and the shadows will come out from the center of the flower out toward the outside, and leave just that tip being in the sunlight. That will dull it down real nicely. I'm using a YR12, just any old kind of a goldish color for all the little tiny pieces, and then a cool gray 3 to add some shadow to the white flowers. And I'm so sorry I did not film the dress. Something happened to the camera in between all of this, and I used the same reds basically, and then did some doodling with a white Signo pen and a black pen just to add a little bit of detail to the fabric of the dress. If you would like more information on coloring skin tones, then be sure to click through at the end of this video for the link to Simon Says Stamp, because that's where my tutorial is all about skin tones. And this video is going live at the same time as that one's going live, so you're going to be able to watch both of them. I also have a link at the end for the dreadlocks video. Thank you so much. Leave a comment and tell me what you think of this, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!